Hello, my name is Zachary Sharp, and welcome to my HORT 120 Dynascapes assignment presentation. Today we will be discussing all of the different topics that we went through in this project for HORT 120, as well as comparing and contrasting it with our previous experiences using AutoCAD. Let's begin. We will begin by comparing and contrasting AutoCAD and Dynascapes. If you've seen the previous video, AutoCAD was the first program that we used for our landscape design projects. We used the same models, the same background images, and the same layouts, as well as the same scaling between the two. However, AutoCAD is a non-industry specific program, meaning it can be used throughout many different areas such as engineering, architecture, or landscape. Dynascapes, however, is an industry specific program. This means that it is designed to be used purely for landscape design. AutoCAD and Dynascapes also had different drawing tools they used. Some were more intuitive than others, and I personally preferred the Dynascapes ones. Their scaling and workspace areas were different as well, as we will get into now when we start discussing Dynascapes. First, we begin with the Dynascapes model space. There are many different things that make the Dynascapes more intuitive than AutoCAD for designing for landscape areas, such as the predefined print and workspace sizes, the scaling tool, as well as sizing your background images and being able to transport them between the workspace and outside of the workspace. One of my favorite tools that we used that was different from AutoCAD to Dynascapes was the polyline. While both programs had a polyline, the polyline in Dynascape allowed you to use grip edits in the center at the midpoints of each segment of line to create an arc. You could also close your polyline to create a solid shape, and you could use the hatch tool within your closed polyline to create a design either around the border or throughout the entire space, such as bricks, grass, mulch, or stone. Another one of the great industry-specific features of Dynascapes was its layers tool. While AutoCAD also had a layers tool, you had to create each individual layer, give it a color, and decide what it was going to be. In Dynascapes, while you have the opportunity to do that, you also are given many pre-made layers that are already color-coded, and as you insert objects such as plants, buildings, property lines, or objects, they are automatically assigned to a layer depending on what they are. That is, unless you draw something, then you can choose to assign it to whichever layer you please. Dynascapes greatly simplifies the process of being able to add depth and design to your project. They do this by adding many pre-made figures that you can choose from in the side menu and add to any landscape, as well as taking them and they are already assigned to a layer, such as pictured in here, the fire pit and the arbor. They are also scaled to your drawing, so you do not need to worry about resizing them. However, you can choose to rotate and place them where you please. The last great industry-specific software tool that we will be covering today is the plant label tool. You can choose from many different plant design options, and then from there, you can choose from the vast amount on the Dynascapes website that you can name your plants. That already has the common scientific names, as well as labeling it as a perennial, or a shrub, or a tree, and many other little facts about them. Once you have these labeled in your drawing, you can choose to count them, place this count to the side, so the viewer can just know what they're looking at. You can also place below your project, or anywhere else, a plant schedule. This schedule tells you the amount of how many plants there are, as well as a few important pieces of information about them, such as their scientific and common names, and whether they are a tree, a shrub, or grass. Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed this display of my Dynascapes project.